This fight is not going to change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good and I can do it. I feel I can beat this guy.
Come on.
He never really declined. He stayed the same the whole fight, and that surprised me. So if they're doing 2-minute rounds, Mike's not going to tire out. I already know that because I watched him do it.
Mike Tyson genuinely believes that he can beat the Disney kid Jake Paul on November 15th. Tyson shared that he is the one who started him off, and he will be the one to end Paul. While talking with former boxer Andre Ward on his podcast, Mike Tyson revealed the real reason why he wanted to fight the problem child, Jake Paul. Tyson said that he fought Roy Jones Jr. back in 2020 and felt amazing. Moreover, Mike Tyson was the one who started Jake Paul off when he fought on his undercard a few years back, which gave him the motivation to end the rising YouTuber boxer.
Before we get into everything, man, how you been doing? How you doing?
I feel great. I feel real good.
You good?
Absolutely.
So I know you here in Las Vegas training, getting ready for your match coming up with Jake Paul, November 15th in Dallas at the AT&T Stadium. Man, how did this fight come about and how you feeling in your training?
Hey, listen, I really don't know. I had fought the exhibition with Roy Jones.
Yes.
And he was on the card. And as time went on, he started building a name for himself. It was a no-brainer that the two of us should get together, and we made a decision to do it.
Mike Tyson genuinely believes that he can end Jake Paul since he has given him multiple warnings ahead of their fight. Andre Ward is excited for the upcoming fight and shared that when Tyson fought Roy Jones, then it felt like two uncles fighting at a barbecue.
This fight is not going to change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good and I can do it. And I feel I can beat this guy.
Come on. Well, we're going to be in the building. I'm going to be there. Speaking of the exhibition with Roy, like when that exhibition happened, man, I felt like it was two of my uncles fighting at the barbecue, man, because I was like,
you know that feeling?
I'm like excited.
In addition, Mike Tyson commented that back in the 80s, every boxer used to fight anybody, and they used to lose with pride and respect. These days, a world-class champion can easily duck any fighter he thinks can beat him.
It was different because we would call you so many bad names in front of your family and talk about you can't, look how you look in front of your wife, a coward. I would say so many bad people. We back then in the 80s and people were verbal, a lot of verbal humiliation, talking crazy to each other. And we had pride, so everybody fought everybody. No one ducked anybody. And then he made more money because then they know that was a great fight. Even though he lost here, let's fight this guy. Let's fight. Listen, this is the thing. It has nothing to do with you losing. It depends on how you lose. You lose spectacularly, hey, they're gonna always use you. Depends on how you lose.
Mike Tyson shared that he prepared hard for his fight with Roy Jones Jr., and the only tricky part was getting back in shape at this age. Tyson is also being offered many more fights after his bout with Paul, and he may consider those chances. Mike described the difference in training as his age progressed from when he was in his prime.
It felt great, but I prepared for it. It's all about preparation.
Still look dangerous in that fight.
Hey, I'm just glad it happened. You know, that was the first one, and God willing, these guys are offering me many more. It's just, it's fun too.
So you want to keep doing it?
It's a possibility, yeah. It's kind of fun. Only thing that's pretty tricky is getting in shape.
Yeah, you start getting older, that thing.
No, just like when I was 20, it's hard. Me training, I go all out. I train you train all day. It starts when? The boxing starts from what? 11, and then we might be done by 5. And then I'm gonna do strength and conditioning, guys. Then I'm gonna do the weights, and then I'm gonna do boxing and sparring. It's an all-day process. That's when it gets crazy. Closer to the fight, it cuts down, but
it cuts down.
Yeah, but it's just all day. You don't have time for no family, friends. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Jake Paul is coming in the ring against Iron Mike to prove that he has a better boxing style than Tyson. On the contrary, Mike Tyson shared that Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick never put in the work to beat him when he upset both of them. Tyson acknowledged that Jake Paul may be qualified to beat him, but he is fully prepared for any outcome.
If Jake Paul get in that ring and start trying to prove a point in that fight, man, I'm just telling you, the younger generation, man, how we look at you, we ain't trying to see that, man. We trying to see, like if he get in there trying to prove something, it's like the Larry Holmes, Trevor Berbick thing. Well, that's how we looking at you in terms of like, hey man, y'all get a good put on a good show for the people, but
listen, Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick didn't put in the work that I put in when they fought me. You know, they just didn't put in that work, and not only that, they just weren't qualified to beat me at their best. You're just gonna qualify to beat me. I train all day. I box and train all day. Stay in shape.
Former boxer Bernard Hopkins shared that he doesn't like the fact that an old Mike Tyson has to go up against a younger Jake Paul. Bernard commented that he looks at Mike Tyson as a legend, but Jake Paul is completely different.
Mike Tyson coming out to fight Jake Paul.
I don't like it.
Is it because of the...
Jay, I look at Mike as like, I look at him different in a way of my era. Like people looked at Ali. And I looked at Ali different too, but not too many people. Marvin Hagler, Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't like it. I think it's become more of a sideshow.
In a recent podcast, Mike Tyson was asked about his thoughts on quitting the sport of boxing for good. The interviewer gave the example of another quarterback athlete that was too stubborn to quit and died because of multiple concussions while pursuing the sport. Mike, on the other hand, gave a very daring response when he shared that some athletes are far too dangerous for themselves to quit, so they die in the sport, and he is one of them.
Let me explain this to you. There's some athletes you have to protect them from themselves because they would rather die than quit.
Moreover, Mike Tyson gave another brutal warning to his opponent, Jake Paul. He shared that Paul is going to have a problem for life when he faces him on November 15th.
I've been the baddest man on the planet for decades, and this problem child is about to have a problem life.
Mike Tyson believes that recovering from pains and aches when preparing for a fight was the toughest job of all, but he works well with recovery anyway. He shared the reason why all fighters probably quit boxing because they can't handle the physical toll it takes on the body.
Like when the first fight I had with Roy, right? I said, I started training. I said, wow, this is the reason why I quit fighting. When those pains started, I said, wow, this is why I quit fighting. This is why. But you get over that. And now they got medicine out of pain. It's just the way they have the shit they have now.
But the recovery is harder though.
Yes. I do good recovery. I do what I don't do. I take 2 days off, 3 days off, the weekend off. And that builds my stamina.
Furthermore, Mike Tyson discussed the difference in mindset with fighters of this day and age. He said that boxers are mostly taking on this sport because of a huge payday, but it's also easy to give up nowadays, given the variety of options for achieving fame.
It's all financially mostly. From what I see, because it's all about everyone wants to be a big shot, but they got to pay the price. They have to know how to handle defeat. You have to know how to handle being humbled. And not giving up. It's so easy to give up nowadays. They got YouTube, all this stuff. If it gets so hard, I'll be a YouTuber.
Furthermore, Mike Tyson's dear friend and Muhammad Ali's former manager Gene Kilroy paid Tyson a visit at his gym. Gene shared that Tyson's mentor instilled some very important lessons in Mike Tyson's heart when he was becoming a champion. Mike used to instill fear in the hearts of his opponents, due to which he was able to shake them down to their core and get tremendous upsets.
But Mike Tyson learned from Casamata. Fear is like fire. What can burn your house down can cook your food. Mike Tyson put fear in everybody he fought. Butch Lewis asked me to come into when he was fighting Michael Spinks in Atlantic City. I went in there. Michael was sitting there. Mike was punching holes in the wall next door in the dressing room. I looked at his opponent. His knees were shaking. I told Butch Lewis, get some knee pads for him. He was scared to death.
He leaves the right hand. Down he goes.
On the other hand, former basketball player Matt Barnes interviewed a few individuals about Mike Tyson, and he was surprised to hear the responses from them. Anyone could be safe and sound in the room, but once they say something wrong in the presence of Mike Tyson, then they are in a world of trouble.
Mike Tyson was out there, Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, yourself.
Yeah, and we all went to the same place. He's not here. That was the hottest place. Hottest. Boy, I'll tell you what.
Hey, that says it all right there.
Taking it back. You got Mike Tyson. You got everybody, and there's somebody.
Yeah. There.
You gotta be careful around Mike.
Both of y'all together.
No, Mike is a good guy.
I'm thinking about that right now. Like, you worrying about Mike. Shit, I've been in the room with Mike, and I'm in the room with y'all. Shit, I don't know how. I was sitting there between both of y'all.
Man, listen, you go with Mike sometimes, and listen, he's a great guy. Love him to death, and we have a great relationship, but you may say the wrong thing and you don't even know it. And then all of a sudden, your ass is is in trouble.
Moreover, Mike Tyson commented that his fight with Jake Paul was written for him way before he was ever born, and it was preordained, although Mike would have never thought that he would be fighting at age 57, but destiny would deem otherwise.
Hey, listen, it was written. That's all I know is written. Maybe millions of years before my bloodline was existing. It's written, brother. And what do you think about
I think you look in pretty good shape. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
On the contrary, Jake Paul may be scared of fighting Mike Tyson, and he has some major fears ahead of his fight. While doing a show with his older brother Logan Paul, Jake was hooked to a lie detector where he was inquired about beating Mike Tyson. Ironically, the lie detector revealed the answer.
Do you believe that I will actually beat Mike Tyson?
Yes.
What the f?
Do you believe you'll actually beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah. I'm not hooked up to the lie detector.
Well, fucking hook his ass up. All right, Jake Paul. Do you really think that you're gonna beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well,
I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I think I don't know.
UFC CEO Dana White, on the other hand, thinks that Mike Tyson shouldn't be fighting an opponent who is 30 years younger than him. Dana absolutely hates Jake Paul and wishes that Tyson succeeds in knocking out the problem child.
Pretty much everybody in the room and the other room wants to see Jake Paul get knocked out. When this fight happens, Tyson will be 58. Under any circumstances, a almost 60-year-old man shouldn't be fighting 27. When he actually fought somebody who was a boxer, who was his age, Tommy, and who was his size, he lost. When are you gonna stop fighting gimmick fights?
I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
This guy's 27. He's in his prime. Yeah. And nobody wants to see Mike get beat by this jerk off.
While discussing his training routine, Mike Tyson shared that he runs 4 miles each day and does plenty of rows. Fighters Kamaru and Henry were shocked to hear that Mike Tyson can do 7,000 rows in less than 2 days.
I get up in the morning, I do the road work.
How many miles?
The basic was 4 miles. On the treadmill, 4 miles, 5. Cause I can't do it outside. People with me.
Yeah.
Right. So I go on the treadmill, and then after that, I do the rower for like, I don't know. I might do. This is on the real too. I might do 3,000 rows. Then come back later, do another 3,000.
Yeah.
Then the next morning, do another 3,000. I got at least 7,000 rows within the a day and a half.
When Roy Jones Jr. found out about Mike Tyson taking on a much younger opponent, then he shared that Paul is relatively inexperienced. Roy claimed that when he fought Tyson back in 2020, both he and Tyson were old, but they had been in the game for years. Jones thinks that Mike can beat the Disney Kid because of his incredible experience, even though he is 58 years old.
When you found out, because you've been in the ring with Mike not too long ago, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. When you found out Mike Tyson had agreed this fight, what was your initial view on that?
Well, I felt like it was for him a much safer fight than fighting someone like myself, because for me, it's like, yeah, we both older, but we both know the game. Jake is learning the game, so it's a little bit easier to try to take a chance with a guy who's learning the game as opposed to a guy who knows the game.
There's no wonder Roy thinks that Paul is inexperienced, since he spends most of time goofing around on social media rather than training for the Tyson fight. In a recent video, Jake Paul mocked Mike Tyson by wearing a fake belly and bulking up for the fight ahead. In addition, Mike Tyson shared that Jake Paul is a good fighter, but he only has 10 professional fights, which makes him an amateur. Mike Tyson predicted how the fight might go around when he said that Jake Paul would be running, and he may have to catch him and slaughter him right then and there.
He's a good little fighter, but he only has 10 fights. That's considered an amateur in our field.
A novice boxer, absolutely. And with that in mind, I mean, you are famous for saying that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What are you anticipating when you punch this young man in the mouth?
Him running around, I have to catch him and slaughter him.
Additionally, Roy Jones Jr. isn't worried about Mike Tyson in his fight with Jake Paul. Roy shared that if Mike manages to knock out Paul in the earlier rounds, then he won't have any problem with the fight, but if it goes past 4 or 5 rounds, then he will have a problem because of his age. Moreover, Roy gave Mike Tyson some advice to fight Paul and said that Tyson should gauge his abilities to know if he wants to go for a knockout or continue the full game.
No, I don't fear for Mike and how old he is. Mike is a very rugged guy. You know, when I was in there with Mike, Mike still was hard to hit, and Mike still can hit hard as hell. So no reason to really fear for Mike. The only thing I fear for Mike is like if the fight goes beyond 4 or 5 rounds, then it could get problematic for Mike because of his age. But if he doesn't go beyond 4 or 5 rounds, he'll be fine. So I think he'll come out, assess the situation, see how he can deal with Jake's size and Jake's power, because Jake does have power. And after that, he'll make his mind up as to whether he wants to go and try to get him out, or if he feels like he'll be safe to do the whole 8 rounds.
Furthermore, Roy Jones thinks that the 2-minute rounds would favor Mike Tyson's aggressive fighting style, and it's not going to tire out his body since Roy himself witnessed it firsthand when he fought him in 2020.
But do you honestly see Jake Paul being able to survive 6 minutes, 4 minutes of Iron Mike Tyson just going for it?
That's the real question. How much can Jake survive? That's the real question, because Mike has what it takes to get anybody out of there. And I'm gonna tell you this, when I boxed him 4 years ago, it was only 2-minute rounds, but surprisingly, he never really declined. He stayed the same the whole fight, and that surprised me. So if they're doing 2-minute rounds, Mike's not gonna tire out. I already know that because I watched him do it.
MMA star Sean O'Malley gives his friend Jake Paul a lot of credit, saying that he has been playing the sport for 5 years and doesn't see him losing. Additionally, Sean stated that Mike Tyson's bout will not end well for him.
There's limits to what you can do when his body's been through it. You know, you can't count him out. I just feel like Jake's too locked in, too in it, been in it too long. With like in the last 5 years, who's been in it more? I think that matters. And what is he, 30 years younger? I just don't see this ending well for Uncle Mike Tyson.
Think Jake's got the speed factor?
Speed, I mean, power. Even at this point, Jake's not a little guy. Jake's a big fella. He's just getting locked in. I think the rule set will play a role. You know, is it 2 minutes? Is it 4 rounds? Is it, what is it going to be?
Moreover, Roy Jones thinks that Jake Paul can't handle the severity of Mike's punches for 2 or 3 rounds straight. Jones believes that if Paul keeps getting hit with those devastating knockout shots, then it will be difficult for him to survive.
I don't think he'll severely injure Jake Paul, because I feel like with Mike, the way Mike punches and as explosive as Mike is, if he clips Jake going down or going out. If he doesn't, then Jake will be fine. But I don't think Jake will take, like what really does damage is the repetitiveness. When a guy keep getting hit over the rounds, 6 rounds, 7 rounds, 8 rounds, still getting hit with the same shots. Mike punches so hard that you're not going to take his shots 2 rounds in a row or 3 rounds in a row. That's not happening. Therefore, no permanent damage will happen to Jake.
YouTuber Mike Rashid revealed his thoughts on the Mike versus Jake bout and shared that there is no way in the multiverse that Mike Tyson can be beat by a guy like Jake Paul.
If Mike Tyson loses to Jake Paul, does it affect his legacy?
There is no possible chance in this universe or the parallel universe or metaverse that it is possible that Jake Paul will beat Mike Tyson. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson, I will not talk for 3 months. I'll fight, man. I want to fight Jake Paul. I would beat Jake Paul without training. I'm sure somebody in this camp is watching this. Tell them.
No weight training or nothing?
Nothing.
How many rounds?
I would knock him out. Probably like 2.
Roy Jones thinks that it's in Mike Tyson's blood to severely damage and kill his opponents. Jones witnessed Mike's devastating blows firsthand, and every shot was thrown with an intent to hurt him.
Of course, Mike is like I tell people all the time. I've had all kind of dogs, Mike is like a pit bull. The problem with a pit bull is they don't know how to really play. They'll try to play, but before long, they're going to be trying to fight for real, because that's just what's in their blood. Not that you should do that, but that's what's in their blood. That's who Mike Tyson is. Mike Tyson is a guy that he'll get in there and try to do what he's supposed to do, but he just can't help it. He wants to kill. Nothing he can do about that. So if you get in there and get him started, he going to heat up. And once he heats up, it's a wrap.
Furthermore, Mike Tyson shared that he is invincible in reality, but he also has fears in his mind that Jake Paul is not what he used to be. Tyson acknowledged Paul as a real fighter and commented that he will do everything in his power to knock out the Disney Kid.
Right now, I'm scared to death. I've seen a YouTube of him at 16 doing weird dances. That's not the guy I'm going to be fighting. This guy's going to come, he's going to try to hurt me, which I'm accustomed to, and he's going to be greatly mistaken.
There's been a lot of rumors out there about the fight. You're going to be wearing headgear. Any truth to any of that?
No, not true at all. Not true.
What is bringing you back? Is it kind of like the last Rocky movie and you got stuff in the basement, you need to get it out?
I have a weird personality. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. I was afraid for the Roy fight. I was scared to fight again. I was 100 pounds overweight. I was 54, 53. But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because it's reality. And in reality, I'm invincible.
Will you please promise me you're going to kick this guy's and shut him up, please?
I will do just that for you.
Roy Jones Jr. thinks that he has what it takes to beat Jake Paul, given that he is 55 years old because of his vast experience in boxing. If Jake were to call out Roy after his fight with Tyson, then it would be really hard to say no to the money and the fame that comes with it.
If Jake Paul were to win and then called you out, would you have a fight with him?
It'd be hard to say no because he's such a big commodity right now. And me knowing that he's strong and his only chance is to try to knock you out. You know, it's like if he can't knock you out, he's in trouble. So it's like, you know, it's a gamble for like 2 rounds. But after 2 rounds, it's a wrap because I'm a vet. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So it's like, it'll be an interesting fight to see for a couple rounds, but I just don't know that he has the longevity to be able to deal with me over that many rounds. So I don't see myself saying no, but not something I'm just out to do, you know?
Floyd Mayweather, on the other hand, supported Jake Paul's endeavor of taking on Mike Tyson and shared that it's good for boxing. However, Mayweather emphasized that if he goes up against a real boxer, then it would be devastating for his career.
Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Do you think Mike Tyson can defeat Jake Paul? Will Mike's speed and agility be enough to keep up with Jake Paul's youth? We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments section below and subscribe for more content like this.